greatest queen sacrifice on move 12 in the game of Nezhmetdinov versus Chernikov. Wow! So this was a game between Nezhmetdinov versus Chernikov, like I already said, and a queen sacrifice on move 12. Not often that you see that. And also he thought for 1 hour, calculated all the variations, and finally Nezhmetdinov played that novelty which shocked the whole world. So it started off with e4, c5, knight to f3, knight to c6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, g6, knight to c3, bishop g7, bishop e3, knight f6, bishop c4, and this is the main line of accelerated dragon Sicilian with 5 dot knight c3. Castle was played, bishop to b3, knight to g4, queen takes g4, because, well, black was attacking his bishop, and after queen takes g4, black has knight takes d4, winning back the piece. And till here, it was theory, until white played queen to h4, which gives black an easy draw. Well, it was supposed to be known that it was giving black an easy draw. Here, the line was actually queen d1, which promises white a slight advantage, because after knight takes b3, a takes b3, b6, bishop d4, d6, bishop takes g7, and king takes g7. White has the slight edge because he has the open a file and to attack a7, and black's king side is very weak because of these dark squares which are not protected, as black is missing his dark squared bishop. But queen d1 was sadly not played, and queen h4 was played. Black tried queen to a5, trying to just pin this knight. So that's why white responded with castle. And bishop to f6, a critical moment of the game. Here it is white to play, and how would you respond? I would suggest you pause the video and try to think for yourself how white should continue with his plans. Pause the video if you need to. Well, here, if you said queen to g3, it's an okay move, one of the moves which has been played before, but after the good move queen takes c3, queen sacrifice before black now, b takes e3, knight e2 check, king h1, knight takes g3, and f takes g3. Just look at white's pawn structure. There are 4 pawn islands, proving him to be worse, if not losing, because these pawns are very weak and very easy to attack for black, as white just go bishop b7, bishop e4. The c3 pawn is already attacked, and this bishop is not doing anything right now. And all in all, white's king is boxed, white's bishops are not doing that much, and white's pawn islands are just too much, and he's very bad and almost losing. If you said queen h6, well, that just leads to an immediate draw with bishop g7, queen h4, bishop f6. But Nezhmetdinov didn't want a draw against Chernikov, and he saw this move of queen takes f6. Before I get delved into more of this queen takes f6, queen g4 has also been tried by Bobby Fischer, but was merely a draw after d6, queen d1, knight to c6, queen d3, and even though white's pieces are active, black's pieces on the other hand are not bad, and black has easy development with bishop g4, rook c8, attack c3, attack c2, and this was a draw in Bobby Fischer's game an year earlier before this was played. So in the game, queen takes f6. Parting with his strongest piece, white intends to exploit the weaknesses after g takes f6 and create imbalances in the position. Now as you can see, black has lots of weaknesses like this f6 pawn, d7 pawn, and also white has ideas with bishop h6, Knight d5 is coming, this f7 pawn is attacked, everything is there. And of course, after bishop takes d4, white gains a crucial tempo in attacking black's weakness. You will understand why this tempo is so important. Here, if knight takes b3, then a takes b3, good move. Now, well, e takes f6 can be met by rook takes a5, and he will be a clear knight up. So he has to play queen takes a1, where after queen takes e7, queen to a5, knight to d5, and now the threats of queen f6, bishop d4 or bishop h6, followed by mate on g7 is unstoppable. d6, well, simply queen f6. Something like queen d8, always knight e7 check. Completely winning. So, now I will flip the board for you, and it is black to play, and how should you respond to what white has suddenly played with queen takes f6? Imagine that you're Chernikov and he played the best defense possible. Black to play. Pause the video if you need to. Here, knight e2 check. The best way, diverting this knight on c3 to a worse square, as this knight on c3 was a good piece. But now it's not that good if it comes to e2, as it loses that one tempo, as I was speaking in the queen, in the e takes f6 straight away line. So knight e2, and well, let's flip to the white side again. Imagine this from Nezhmetdinov's perspective. So knight takes e2, e takes f6, and again knight c3. Now rook e8. Here I think even if d5, then knight takes d5, bishop e6, knight f6, king g7, and bishop d4. Well, this knight moves, and this is a discovered check, and the black king will be in tatters. And because white stands clearly better because of his marvelous minor pieces. And then just look at the queen. I mean, even though it's developed, what is it doing on a5? Well, attacking a pawn which is defended by a rook and a bishop. What else? Nothing much. That's why white stands clearly better here. Knight c3, rook e8 was tried, but never mind, knight d5. Rook takes e4, then the dancing knight fork, knight takes f6 check. Easy win. If rook to b6, bishop to d4. This f6 pawn is attacked again. King to g7 and rook d1. And now, rook takes e4 was not tried in the game, but rook takes e4 is actually a gross mistake because of bishop to c3. Gaining that one tempo in just securing the bishop to a safer square. Something like queen to c5, and now knight takes f6. Attack the rook, rook moves, and then some discovered check, winning the queen. Game over, white wins. So well, okay, d6 was tried, just getting the bishop out. Well, okay, rook d3, get the rook lifted. The rook's coming in the game, into the party. Bishop to d7, rook to f3, attacking f6. And black tries bishop to b5, wanting to create some counterplay. Bishop c3, attacking the queen first. Queen to d8. And the next question is up for you. White to play. How should he respond to black's threat of bishop takes f1? Pause the video, as I would recommend you to do so. Here, black is threatening bishop takes f1, but we don't even care about it. Let's just play knight takes f6. The rook on f1 is not doing anything, so it doesn't matter. That's what Nezhmetdinov's process was like. Knight takes f6. Now, well, if bishop takes f1, then knight g4 check simply, king g8, bishop takes e6, and the black king is certainly not destined to live longer. As f takes e6, knight h6 is game over, checkmate. If we move like bishop e2, which was played in the game, attacking this rook and this rook on f1, both the rooks. Well, the third question is up here. The fourth, actually. White to play and find the combination which Nezhmetdinov played in the game. White to play. Pause the video if you need to. Pause it right now. Well, the answer to this is simply knight takes h7 check. The best way to give the check by sacrificing the knight. Why not? If king takes h7, then rook takes f7. King h6, bishop d2 check. g5 only move, bishop takes c6. Bishop takes f1, bishop f5. And rook h7 check is threatened. Something like queen h8. Well, no way. h4. Now let's attack this g4 pawn. Bishop to e2. Bishop takes g5. f3. And now, simple plan of campaign. Rook f6 and bishop g4 checkmate. And the mating threats keep on coming. As queen d4 check will not do anything. As simply king g2 there are no checks available. And this is completely winning for white. So, knight takes h7. He calculated all of this. Marvelous. Now, king to g8 only move as well. King h6 would also leave. Rook takes f7 and this knight and this rook is simply marvelously placed. Fantastic they are. Knight takes h7. King g8 and rook h3. What's the threat? The threat is simply knight g5 followed by rook h8. The mating threats keep on coming. Rook to e5, blocking this bishop's way for material. Well, who cares about material? f4. White being material down is not taking material. Wow. Bishop takes f1, king takes f1. You have to take the bishop, but not the rook. Okay, rook c8. Bishop d4. Don't let that rook sacrifice that bishop. If like f takes e5, the hasty f takes e5 leaves d takes e5. Bishop takes e5 and queen d1 check. And this is perpetual check. No, not what we want. So bishop d4, blocking this queen's way. b5. Knight g5. Idea, rook h8. Rook takes g5, rook h8 checkmate. And black tried with rook to c7. And a stunning pattern to finish the game off. Pause the video now. White to play. And how should he win the game on the spot? This position would come in quite a lot of books as this was a brilliant move and a very nice combination which he found. Bishop takes f7 check. Never mind those pieces about material. Who cares about that? Okay, rook takes f7, rook h8 check. Another give full pieces, lots of pieces. King takes h8, knight takes f7. And the dancing knight fork. It's a grand fork. All major pieces and the king have come together. And this knight is going to take all of them. Knight takes f7, king h7, and knight takes d8. And now it is a bishop, knight, and 3 pawns for a rook. He is 4 points up. And after rook takes e4, knight c6, rook takes f4 check, king e2. Here Chernikov resigned and Nezhmetdinov won the game. I am right now trying to find a move which was not a brilliant move. All moves were the best. Even the stockfish didn't think that those were correct. But after a while when you put them, he was like, oh yes, that's true. That's correct. Nezhmetdinov played in a remarkable style to win the game against Chernikov. I would like that this move, queen takes f6, to be seen again. Queen takes f6. How can anybody even think of this move? Simply fabulous. So that's the game for you. Nezhmetdinov versus Chernikov, queen sacrifice on move 12. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked the video. Bye.